Bulletcast for life.
Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is I, the microphone messiah, Phillip Antoine, joined by Brandon Tanguma. No Marlee this week, but she will be joining us kind of via satellite. Brandon, what's up, man?
What's up, everybody? We're in September, so summer's basically over and fall's starting. Where the hell's the year gone?
Right, where has it gone? Brandon, you went to Big Toko's Kickback 3. What are your thoughts?
It was a good time. It was at the Cornerstone, which once again I look like an idiot because it's like a venue inside a restaurant. So I was like, I didn't know where to go, and then I followed these people and I figured it out. And I was at the first one. Definitely a little bit of a change from the BTW, the Newark Portuguese Hall. It was I don't know the whole story, the whole journey of Oasis, but I definitely could tell from 2 years ago to now, there's definitely they're going places.
Yep. Shout out Oasis, did the damn thing Sunday night. We're here to talk Bash in Berlin. Brandon, run it down for us.
Well, it was in Berlin. Shocker. We started off with Cody and KO. Honestly, might have been my favorite match of the show. It was simple. They told a good story with KO. Is he going to turn? Is he not going to turn? He ended up didn't, but he kind of gave some looks, and there's some points that maybe he could have. But I like that match quite a bit overall on the show. I'll be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of the show. It's kind of another run of the mill overseas show that not a lot happened in terms of like forwarding storylines, but I thought the this Cody match was really good.
From what I didn't see the whole thing, and be honest with the people, I saw like the last 5 minutes. I really enjoyed like going into the go home of it all. Cody Rhodes stands tall once again, still the WWE champion. Um, I did see like highlights from what you were talking about, how there were points where KO could have turned, but he didn't. And I think this is all going to lead to the prize fighter version of Kevin Owens coming back. The guy that would do anything to better himself, that where he could put more food on the table for his family. So, yeah, I'm interested in seeing where this goes. And but Solo Sikoa said it didn't matter if KO or Cody won, he got next. So we'll see what that element plays into.
Yeah, then we got the women's tag match. I mean, it was fine. Jade and Bianca get their titles back. Jade kind of snapped at a reporter, not snapped, but like kind of was a little witty about not wanting to talk about AEW anymore, even though they didn't really talk about AEW all that much. So looks like they're kind of back where they started. I don't know what the tag division looks like, but it is what it is. Then we got the strap match, CM Punk beating Drew McIntyre. We'll talk about Raw later that they're still continuing on this feud, but I thought this was much better than their SummerSlam match. It was more physical. The strap match and these types of matches in general are going to be a little more plotting, a little more deliberate because you're not going for the pinfalls. You're going to, the go for the turnbuckles and all that other stuff. So there's kind of an inherent part of the match I don't like, but for what it was, I thought it was very good. Or
Yes.
yeah.
CM Punk undefeated in strap matches. His last strap match 15 years ago against the late great Umaga. Yeah, I mean, I thought this was fun. I always love the spot where like the guys carrying the dude on the shoulder, they touch the buckle, then the guy that's on the shoulder touches it. I always love that. Multiple GTSs to ensure that Drew McIntyre would stay down so CM Punk could win. Gets the bracelet back, and Punk on a digital media exclusive, he said now he wants the World Heavyweight Championship. Obviously, we'll talk about what happened, after the aftermath of it all with Monday Night Raw. But nonetheless, congratulations to CM Punk. He looked great. This was very fun.
Best Punk WWE match in a decade.
Well,
There's been like four of them, but this was definitely the best one.
technically there's five. This is five. No, we had those two with Dom on the house shows.
Well, we didn't see those, so I don't count those.
Oh, come
Then
on.
speaking of Dom, he was in a match here. He had the mixed tag match with Rhea and Priest against Dom
Terror
and
Twins.
Liv, the Terror Twins, which I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of the name, but whatever.
Treacherous Twins. Come on now. Hello.
I mean, this almost kind of just screamed like a house show or like a like a comp not a comedy match, but like a match where the wrestler gets in the ring with like the manager or something like that, where because Priest and Rhea were just like completely dominating for most of the match. There was points where Liv and Dom got a little bit up, but some interference from the Judgment Day, and Priest and Rhea get the win. They, Rhea got a little bit on Dom, put him in like that little leg lock chokehold she does. So they're still continuing this feud, but it was fine for what it was. Crowd was into it, which is what you would expect. Then the main event, this one went 34 minutes, 28 seconds. Crowd, I was very much into it. This was kind of where we got that European type crowd where I thought they were a little more into themselves than actually watching the match, doing the wave, doing chants and things. Gunther gets the win via submission or via chokeout, which I like the kind of finish of it where Gunther just kind of like rises up like a sea monster and just like comes back and takes Randy Orton. Randy
Yeah.
Orton's back again. I did like that finish, but the match overall, I thought it was kind of like a Randy Orton Triple H specialty where it was a little plotting, kind of slow at points. Um, I think people like really like this match, maybe just because it was a long match and the crowd was kind of into it, but it didn't click for me. I was not a fan of this match.
Uh, I mean, I enjoy the slow, methodical pace. You know, they say less is best. Um, I mean, it was just two guys going out there. You know, they both work slower paces, so that's kind of what clashed here. I did like Randy, trying to get out of the sleeper, and his arms just happened to be in the RKO position. Him dumping Gunther on that announce table multiple times, the big wood all with the steps going through the other table. I thought that was nice.
I do
Um,
wonder if they botched, like he only hit one RKO and Gunther kicked out like right away. I wonder if it was because he did a power bomb, was going to do a power bomb, but then like he kind of dropped. I don't know if they were trying to do a power bomb into an RKO, but just either Gunther couldn't get up or Randy couldn't get up. So I wonder
Randy
if that.
Randy weighs a lot now.
Well, that's another thing that they were pointing out, like, oh, he weighs like 280 or 290, something like.
Saw that Nutella.
And he, I mean, he kind of looks it. He doesn't like look the best, and I get it. He's older. He can't be Randy Orton, swimmer body anymore. And I think that was another reason why I wasn't a big fan of the match. It seemed like Randy was just kind of slow and he kind of was looking his age. He didn't look the best. So, yeah.
I mean, I I mean, what do you want Orton to have like a faster paced match? Is that it?
I mean, I think you could have shaved 10 minutes off. You could have shaved 10 minutes off this match. You could have added like another match to the card because I feel like there's so much like downtime. Luckily, I didn't watch this show live. I kind of like sped through it. So a lot of like the BS they normally do, I was able to get through compared to like sitting through those unnecessary commercial TV packages they run sometimes. But yeah, I just Randy doesn't. He looks old. I'm just gonna say it. Randy kind of looks old.
And Randall Keith is I mean he's up there in age now, so he's what 44 now. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know what you I don't know what more you want.
I mean, if he's gonna be, if this is like his last hurrah and he's just kind of like this is his last main event title match, like okay, fine. But if we are gonna get that like mythical Cody heel turn, a heel turn on Cody, and we're gonna get a title match for that. I kind of wonder if it's it seems like it's if they were to do that, it would be kind of a longer term story. So we maybe get a couple matches out of it where I don't think I'm ready for that.
Let's see. Let's see. Now I think this is just like the one and done. To kind of the fans wanted to see the rematch given what happened to King of the Ring, so they got it there. Randy will go back to SmackDown and continue whatever he was doing over there. I think that's all it is. Before we give our grades for Bash in Berlin, we will hear from Marlee to hear her thoughts.
I thought Bash in Berlin was pretty entertaining. It was a pretty quick card, which I like this new formula of WWE doing less is more. There were only 5 matches on the card compared to I feel like if this were a pay-per-view back in late 2000s, early 2010s, there would have been maybe 10 matches on the card, but the less is more formula for WWE is working because it actually opens up that space for stories. I feel like a lot of the stories in WWE right now there was another chapter etched in the book of all of these stories because you got Cody and Kevin. I enjoyed it. I did personally expect a Kevin Owens heel turn, but I think that not turning Kevin heel is the move because Cody still needs alliances when it comes to the bloodline. So to have Kevin turn heel in the midst of all this, it really would not make sense, and it wouldn't benefit either of them in any way. Bianca and Jade reclaimed the women's tag team titles. I thought it was an alright match. Kind of glad to see them doing stuff with the tag team titles. This is probably the most I've seen the women's tag team titles get any attention since they were introduced. But yeah, no, nice little feud, nice little side story there. Punk and Drew continued their story. I enjoyed their match, and I really enjoyed the spot where Drew had Punk on his shoulders and he was going to tap each turnbuckle. And when he turned around, Punk was tapping the turnbuckles right behind him. So that's a little spot I really enjoyed. And then Punk finally getting his comeuppance and getting his bracelet back. It was a nice little culmination to at least that arc of the story because none of these stories are done. We got Bad Blood and Survivor Series coming up, so we're going to drag all of this stuff out towards then, I'm pretty sure. Terror Twins got one up on the Judgment Day, which I think was the good call because you now have two separate grudge matches that we can go into. You got Dom and Damien, and you got Liv and Rhea. So that was just, basic match, basic tag team match. Really enjoyed. And then Gunther and Orton. Half expected Orton to win, but I also kind of understood that Gunther's going to be holding that belt till WrestleMania, much like Cody. So it was a nice little cap to their story because I think that was probably they're done there. But all in all, I feel like it was a decent show. It was a nice way to spend a Saturday morning, because Sunday was no mercy.
All right, thank you, Marlee. Brandon, what is your grade for Bash in Berlin?
I'm gonna give it a B minus. I did like the strap match and the KO Cody match, but then everything else was just kind of there. Crowd was into it, and it kind of levels it up. But like at this point, these European morning shows aren't really novelties anymore. They're just kind of the run. They're kind of what happens when it's not a big four pay-per-view. So they're not as special, I think, as they have been. So it's just kind of like at this point, I want like good matches. I want some more out of these PLEs at this point.
I'll give it a B. It was fine. Stuff happened that I liked. Yeah. I mean, the five match card is kind of what Triple H is doing now, and which allows other things to get more time to develop, like on Raw, like obviously with the Wyatt Six and Chad Gable and his crew. So we'll see what happens with everything else moving forward. All right, outside of the ring, unfortunately, we've lost another titan of the business. Sonny King passes away at 79 years of age. Sonny King was a world-renowned boxer who turned who was a boxer who debuted in the 1960s. Then he became a professional wrestler, befriending Ernie Ladd in 1972. Sonny became the first African American in WWE history to hold any championship by becoming the WWF Tag Team Champion along with Chief Jay Strongbow. He would also go to work for like AWA, NWA, Championship Wrestling from Florida before hanging up his boots in the 1980s. So RIP to Sonny King.
Yeah, RIP. Honestly, like not too familiar with his career, but you just kind of laid it out.
Summed it up.
Trailblazer, yeah. So T's and P's.
Odyssey Jones has been released from WWE. This came out of nowhere. Fightful started reporting about it, and everybody else started reporting about it. Apparently, there was some domestic violence issues going on that the company wasn't aware about. I mean, he was kind of, I'm not gonna say a prominent spot, but he was in a interesting spot, being with the New Day, whatnot. Then now he's just gone. So what's gonna happen to that story?
I mean, it feels like they're just gonna throw it away and act like nothing happened. We did see Cody or Kofi on Raw talk to Pierce trying to get a tag title match or something. So just no mention of Odyssey Jones whatsoever. Yeah, I mean, it kind of started Sunday or whatever. Like he wasn't on the roster page anymore, and I mean, just a wild story. I mean, we don't have any like particulars on exactly what's going on or what happened, but I mean, we kind of like made jokes like we've been waiting 2 years for him to get to the main roster. He finally does this storyline with Cody and Kof or Xavier, and I thought they were getting somewhere, and then before it even starts, it ended. So I mean, obviously for good reason because domestic violence not good.
Not good
Hot
at
take.
all. Speaking of domestic violence, Nikki Garcia, the former Nikki Bella, her husband, Artem, he's on Dancing with the Stars. He was arrested for domestic violence, and apparently Nikki's looking for a divorce lawyer.
Yeah, another thing that just kind of came out of nowhere on Thursday, last Thursday. So, after we recorded, but, terrible. There's like video or audio recording of like the 911 call or the dispatch, whatever. And
Oh, really? I didn't know. It's so obviously it's
it's the dispatch. It's not the 911 call, but you can hear the people, the police officers, whatever, just like talk about the situation. And, I mean, also, unfortunately, shout out Nikki. She was on the Joey Chestnut Kobayashi Netflix hot dog thing that happened on Labor Day. And
yeah.
so like within a week she's back to working. I mean, it was a big opportunity, so I kind of expected her to still be there, but I mean, she was there.
This happened like an hour away from us. That's crazy. All this is
Yeah,
going on.
the Bellas and their husbands moved to Sonoma or to Napa.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I hope everything turns out for everybody involved in these two uh domestic violence situations. Hope everybody who was wronged finds some solace, peace, and justice. Moving on from that, Mick Foley will be getting a Dark Side of the Ring episode. Jim Ross said he was interviewed about he did an interview for a Mick Foley Dark Side of the Ring. Mick Foley's obviously regarded as one of the nicest human beings and one of the nicest workers in the game. So not sure what dark side you'll get of Mick Foley in his life and career.
yeah, the dark side of the ring thing is what's interesting. Like I know Vice could have just done like a standalone thing on Mick, but if we're gonna go dark side of the ring, obviously like concussions, injuries, some of that nature. Because I mean, Mick is one of the most likable guys in the industry, so I wonder how they're gonna make this a dark side of the ring
Yeah,
if that's the way they're gonna go.
we shall see. All right. Victoria, Lisa Marie Varon, formerly Terra in in TNA, I'm sorry. She has signed a Legends deal with WWE. So, normally these mean like, Mattel, they'll give you a couple figures. She'll probably be DLC in a video game. And normally this leads to Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
Uh
big Victoria fan back in the day. Met her at the Cowbells. My favorite pictures I
yes,
have. She choked me.
she choked me too.
But yeah, I guess it's like this new nostalgia contract is kind of like the
Yeah.
new thing that they're calling it now. I heard maybe Melina signed one.
Really?
Cherry might have renewed for 5 years. Um,
Wait. So,
sorry, not
we gotta talk about
not Terry the manager, not Terry Reynolds. The
or
other Terry.
we got let's finish this with Victoria. I've had multiple interactions with her. She is legit one of the nicest human beings on earth. I love her. She's great. She's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. One of my favorite, obviously, she's top 10 of my favorite women's wrestlers of all time. I've been wanting her to go in the Hall of Fame for a numerous amount of years. Just she deserves it. I mean, she had that rise, and everybody loves like what was the song by Tattoo? All the things she said. I mean, she only had it for like a year, but it's like this memory that
Banger.
you immediately go to. But yeah, Victoria, I'm happy for her. I love it, and I can't wait to see what happens with this. Now, Terry Bollea, he was on Logan Paul's podcast. This guy said if Chris Benoit can do all the stuff he did and get forgiven, then I'll be all right. No, who said people?
I mean, I don't know what universe Terry's living in right now.
Yeah, who said that he was forgiven? Actually, I think this is a long time ago. I listened to like a Jericho podcast like almost 10 years ago, and Nancy Benoit's sister was on, and I think she said she forgave Chris. Don't quote me on that. I mean, go look it up, go try to find it, whatever. But yeah, look, you can't be saying stuff like this, bro. Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this?
I mean, he just constantly puts his foot in his mouth all the time from the political stuff he said, and then now this thing on the Logan Paul podcast. I mean, another thing is why is Logan Paul even platforming this guy? But
I
that's
mean,
another
he
issue.
had Donald Trump on there, so you know it is.
And I mean, I think we've talked about maybe Chris Benoit in the past, and it's like I
Yeah.
think at this point I've taken like a lesser of a stance of like I can't watch him anymore, but like obviously I don't think anyone's forgiven him. People can recognize how great he was back in the day, but I don't think anyone's
Yes.
forgiving him.
Yeah. That's what I say it all the time. Chris Benoit legit could have been top 10 of all time, but the last 72 hours of his life ruined his legacy. That it is what it is. Vince McMahon has a Netflix documentary coming out on what, the 25th of this month. It's going to chronicle, like his rise, buying the company from his father, then obviously, his downfall, then leaving the company, resigning, and the allegations and everything like that.
Very interesting. We got Bill Simmons and the guy from Tiger King involved with this. So Tiger King, obviously like a gotcha type documentary. There's another one on Max that's about like chimpanzees and things like that. I mean, I'm very interested to see how they portray Vince because with Netflix having Raw, are they going to go deep into it? They have an interview with Vince before he resigned.
Yes.
So like, what was the point of the thing beforehand? Was it like to just showcase how great he is and like maybe some of his faults, but not all of his
What?
faults? What happened? Breaking news.
Rich homie Quan passed away.
T's and P's.
That's crazy.
But yes, the Netflix documentary, I'm more intrigued to see just how it's portrayed, not exactly learning anything because of the political minefield that Vince McMahon is, and see how they kind of tiptoe around all that. If I mean, there's definitely a all out Vince McMahon is a terrible person. Look at all these things we've uncovered type of documentary. I don't think we're gonna get that with Netflix. We're gonna get some of it, but maybe not all of it. And maybe it's gonna be like, oh, look how great WWE is now because we got rid of Vince McMahon. And you can watch it on Netflix, January 6th.
Wow.
Yep.
Not January 6th. I thought I see what you did there. Mm, mm. I mean, what do you really think we're gonna get out of this documentary?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter, and apparently there's a trailer about it. It's like a 2-minute trailer, so I'm not going to watch it right now. But
Yeah,
it's
no,
on
I saw the
on Twitter.
trailer earlier today. I mean it's something, man. I mean, we'll obviously we'll have to wait to see like what's going to be going on with it. What kind of narrative they're going to tell. I mean, they have interviews from like Bruce Pritchard and Triple H and things like that. Do we know if like or is Stephanie in this? Is Shane? Do we know?
No clue. I don't know really anything about this outside of like the producers and the release date.
Okay. Queen of Villains is going to be coming to Netflix on September 19th. A lot of wrestling content. It's a drama series arriving on Netflix. It delves into the little known story of Matsumoto. I'm sorry, a professional wrestler who revolutionized women's wrestling in Japan in the 1980s. So yeah, I mean this is interesting. Brandon, do you know anything about this?
No, not too familiar with it. So, I mean, at this point, I am kind of like looking for things to watch, and that's definitely be on my radar.
Maybe on your radar. Will you finally watch Heels when it comes?
Maybe,
We
maybe.
have to do a Heels
I
recap.
mean, I watched the first season, and then now I know AJ was in the second season, so I definitely got to watch that.
It was good. Giselle Shaw has left TNA. She is she asked for her release and it was granted. She's involved with Scott D'Amore, who was obviously with TNA for a long period of time, kind of helped revitalize this kind of resurgence. No pun intended, because that's one of their pay-per-view names. But this resurgence that TNA is having right now, and Scott D'Amore left, started back up Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. I think they just announced a match, Mike Bailey versus somebody, and maybe Giselle Shaw will go over there and be a part of their women's division. But I know, very interesting, very very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know too much about just I mean, I haven't watched too much of her, so I mean the women's division either in WWE, AEW, because those are the two people are always going to say. I think she'd be good, but time will tell.
Time will tell. It will tell indeed. All right. The match is Mike Bailey versus Konosuke Takeshita. That's gonna be something crazy. I'm gonna have to check that out. No fan. We'll get into a SmackDown. Nia retains her WWE Women's Championship against Mia Yimichin. Yeah, not Annihilator onto Mia while she's in a trash can. Simple, got it done.
Yeah, we got the fake cash in from Tiffany Stratton, which it feels like they do it way too much. It's like no one believes she's gonna actually do it, and it's just like
Well,
fake. It's
Dolph
fake drama.
Ziggler. To be fair, Dolph Ziggler did it a lot, and then he actually cashed in.
Well, that was also what 12, 13 years ago now at this point. So it's
And
like
so what's old is new again.
we've seen it so many times.
No,
And
what's old is new again. It's okay.
it's old, but it ain't new.
It's okay. It's fine.
Bailey came back. The internet was having a field day with Tiffany Stratton jumping the barricade and tripping and certain camera angles. Respectfully, of course.
Yeah. LA Knight retained the United States title. Yeah. Retained it against Ludwig Kaiser.
Yeah, fun matchup. Kaiser getting his moment in Germany. That was another thing about Bastion Berlin. Like, as much as I didn't like the match, I thought it was fun to see Gunther there, and he kind of was a pseudo babyface, and we kind of like saw more Gunther the man, like especially like afterwards when he cut that promo in Complete Germany, he just seemed like an affable guy who was just kind of soaking it all in. I thought that was fun. But yeah, the match itself was cool. It was kind of LA Knight having another mid card retention, and crowd gets over, crowd likes him, just kind of building the momentum.
Not mid card retention. All right. Let's talk about George Hackenschmidt in a match of his from 1908 that will soon be online. It's from London against Joe Rogers. Has been fully restored 15 minutes of hack wrestling. It's the only existing footage of Hackenschmidt to turn up, so it should be online soon. It's 116 years old. We gotta watch that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know this was a thing. Everyone knows about the legendary Gotch Hackenschmidt battles, so I'm excited to see Hackenschmidt with my own eyes. And people will be like, "Oh my God, the smoke-filled armories and stuff," and Vince McMahon saved wrestling and made it big time. No, wrestling's been big time for like 120 years.
But to the narrative, Vince saved it and made it big time.
Exactly.
All right. JBL and TNA. What is going on with Bradshaw or John Layfield? Showed up at Triple A with Dolph Ziggler. Showed up at GCW and attacked Effie. Came to TNA, whispered something in Nick Nemeth's ear. What is going on with Layfield?
I mean, he said he's like recruiting for Triple H. I don't know if that's just him being witty or if that's like a legit thing. It is weird, just like out of nowhere. We've never really seen JBL do like any in-ring indie stuff. I don't know if he's doing like meet and greets like that, but it is strange that we're just seeing him do this stuff pop up out of nowhere.
I mean, stranger things have happened in the world of pro wrestling, man. I don't know. We'll see. Julia makes her NXT debut after Roxanne Perez retained against Jada Parker at NXT No Mercy. She has emerged, and then I'll just throw it out there. She said on what NXT this past week, you, me, CW. So I guess the first episode of NXT on the CW will be Roxanne Perez versus Julia for the NXT Women's title.
It could be. Maybe it is that second episode because I think the men's title is also getting defended on the first night, unless they are going to load up on both of them on the first night. But
yeah, I could see them splitting it.
Yeah, I mean, Julia, one of the two big names, her and Vicaire, they teased it on NXT last week with the Parker slap heard around the world that they were insinuating somebody was there, and it was Julia, and it should be a must-see match, her and Roxanne, if they give it the time. I'm scared they're going to maybe do like some crap finish to maybe pull it out, but then randomly Chelsea Green was also there on NXT because reasons,
of course. All right, let's go into Monday Night Raw. Drew McIntyre destroys the bracelet. Punk is out there talking about, he references fame promo. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money. He'll take it in direct deposit cash or gold. talking about how he still wants, the world heavyweight championship. His music plays, standing on the announce table. Shout out to Joe Tessitore. Thought he did a decent job his first night on the job. Yeah, then he gets attacked by Drew McIntyre. McIntyre Claymore, boom, throws him in the ring, takes the bracelet, rips it, puts some of the beads in Punk's mouth, gives him another Claymore, and yeah, it is going crazy.
I,
What are your
I thought
thoughts?
I thought Joe Tessitore was pretty good first night. Technical. He missed up on the Torpedo Moscow, but it is what it is. How are they going to get to another match? Which we saw.
It
Just
has to it has to be Hell in the Cell, right? It's either them or Liv and Rhea. Bad blood.
yeah. I mean, I think they did a good job as best they could to get this to another match, which I thought was kind of like okay, whatever. But Punk maybe is gone for a couple weeks, so then he comes back. We get straight to it because it's like beginning of October. So,
Yeah.
it was good. It was a good little kind of write off and kind of continuation of a feud that should have ended like a couple months ago, but they're gonna pull it out till October.
Being a 3 match series, I'm down. Liv takes out Rhea's knee. Rhea is hanging upside down. They really are terror twins. They both have kind of the same gimmick happen to them. And then that leads to later on in the night with what you call it. They're looking for a partner for Priest to take on the Judgment Day. Happens to be Jey Uso. Jey Uso and Priest go on to defeat or what was it? No, it was Finn and JD, right?
Yes, the tag team champions just losing another tag team
They
match
haven't defended those yet.
to a makeshift tag team. Yep. Well, that just kind of shows where the tag team division is at the moment. I mean, it's on the Bloodline, which we don't see them going anywhere, and then
I mean,
Drew and
it's the bloodline. Come on now, hello.
Drew and McDonough just kind of lose all the other matches. I mean, it was once again another show long storyline.
I thought Finn was gonna be doing something like for real, like after he cost Priest the world title, but I guess not.
Well, he said everyone's equal, and for better or for worse, I guess he was right. In the Judgment Day, and the Jay Rhea dynamic, it is like kind of weird. Like
Yeet,
I get it. It's like something that was kind of hinted at like online, and now they're kind of bringing it to the
yeet.
TV, and it just seems very like childhood. Oh my gosh, I like you. Do you like me? It's like, come on,
Hey,
you
look,
guys are
man,
in your 30s, or at least Jay is.
I could relate. Do you like me? Oh my god. You know, it's supposed to be relatable, man. You never had that, Brandon? Like, oh my god, do you like me? I like you. No, this didn't happen. This never happened to you.
Well, DMs are dry right now, but yeah,
I
I felt
mean,
like that when I was like 12.
yeah, it's for
Like, oh
the
my God. Well, I understand they're trying to placate to the 12-year-olds who watch it,
it's
but
for our inner 12-year-olds. Yeah. Anyway, Ilya advances in the Intercontinental Championship tournament, defeating Dominic and who else was in this match?
The Miz in this one,
Was Miz in this one?
well, there was two. Braun also advanced to the other one because Bronson Reed got COVID, so maybe Bronson was supposed to win, and maybe Bronson, I don't know what's going to happen. So Braun
He's
is
gonna tsunami
interesting.
through COVID. That's what he's gonna do.
Someone said finally COVID actually like saved a life because if Bronson Reed didn't, he would have killed somebody.
That's true. All right, and then lastly, American Made defeats American Alpha, and then Gable calls out the Wyatt Six. So this is gonna be something.
Yeah, 8-person tag. The Wyatts, I don't know. I'm not sold on them again. I'm not the biggest fan of Uncle Howdy and the mask, like the match he had last week or 2 weeks ago. It didn't really click for me, but
Why
they're gonna try.
not?
They're gonna try again.
Why didn't it click for
The,
you?
the mask doesn't look great. I mean, Bo Dallas, he's not like a Kane or a Luchasaurus or Rey Mysterio. I know it's new, so he kind of like needs to learn how to wrestle with the mask.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see what's going down. All right. Before we get out of Monday Night Raw, we're gonna throw it to Marley.
Monday Night Raw was your average episode of Raw. It was the follow-up to Bash in Berlin, and they were planting seeds for where things are going for the rest of the year, at least how I see it. We had Rhea, Liv, Dom, and Damien open the show. Rhea was in a similar stuck in the rope spot that Damien was. I believe it was Backlash, where they both got their ankles caught in the ropes. continued on with that storyline. I feel like that's going to go to Bad Blood, like I said in the Bash of Berlin recap. But I can also see the Judgment Day versus Rhea, Damien, and 3 other people in a 5-on-5 Survivor Series. If we do that, if we do Survivor Series teams, because I know the big thing is probably going to be the Bloodline Civil War at Survivor Series, but I wouldn't mind seeing like Judgment Day versus Rhea, Damien, and 3 other people. Then we had the 6-person tag with American Made and Alpha Academy. I almost said American Alpha. TBT for real. Thought it was pretty cool. Maxine is definitely improving in the ring. That kip up was pretty sick. Shayna versus Selena was, it was decent. Punk and Drew had a segment, and the bracelet was finally broken. I didn't think it was going to get broken. I thought Punk was going to get his bracelet back and be set up towards Bad Blood, but I mean, that's another inkling in the story, the bracelet getting broken. So, interesting to see where Punk and Drew take things, since they both essentially got their one-ups on each other. They're just going to continue to hate each other, which seems like the way that it's going. But the Intercontinental title contendership matches were pretty cool. I feel like once we get to, I'm not sure if it's like a bracket type situation that they're working with for this, but it's nice to see people who don't really get that main card spot at least get some sort of acknowledgement, like Dragon Lee, Ilya Dragunov. It's not me knocking their talents, it's just they're getting featured, but it's not like the major storylines. Like, they're making space and time for everyone, which is cool to see. One thing I did want to bring up, Kairi Sane's eye. Yeah, that was a crazy spot. I'm glad she's okay. She got stitches for that, but all in all, I feel like it was a decent episode of Raw. Decent follow-up to Bash in Berlin. Now it's just pushing forward towards Bad Blood, Survivor Series, and the rest of the year.
Thank you, Marlee. Thank you very much. All right, moving on from that, AEW Dynamite real quick. Garcia and MJF have a promo. What was going on with that?
Yeah, this one kicked off Dynamite. MJF was up in the crowd while Garcia was in the ring. They just kind of did scathing. Oh my God, I can't believe he just said that promos. The crowd was not really hot for this, which was interesting. I wasn't really into Garcia. They like MJF, but I don't think MJF's in a great spot. Then they fight a little bit. MJF bloodies Garcia, then cuts like a heel dark promo. Like, oh my God, I'm gonna get my darkness back that I lost. So once again, we're getting another MJF promo that gets me somewhat excited. Like, okay, he's gonna finally be serious, and we're not gonna do this cheap heat bullshit. But fool me once, you can't get fooled again, as old W said.
Fool on you. Who said that? That's
a George Bush quote.
Yes. It's in what J. Cole song is that?
It's in Forest Hills Drive. I forget which one.
Yeah, I forget which one. Great album. I saw he recreated the cover recently. I love that. And then Hangman Page burned down Swerve's childhood home. Did Swerve just buy this?
Yeah, and I feel like an idiot not seeing this one coming. I
loved this. I was like, yes, this is it. This is what you gotta do, bro. Like, shout out to everybody involved in this one, man. Like, this is the kind of stuff I need to be seeing on AEW. I'm invested. I can't wait. They're having a match at All Out, right?
Yeah, and it's going to be the main event, unsanctioned steel cage. And I really did like I thought Heyman's promo was fantastic. I thought it was like plotting, and like you realize that he has a gas can and maybe what he's doing. Then he burns the house down, commits a felony, commits arson, which, like, it's a little too much in wrestling was a cool visual, so I'm kind of like back and forth on like, do I hate it or do I like it? So, but overall, I mean, I thought the visual was cool, and I thought the promo from Hangman was fantastic, and Swerve, I thought sold it probably as good as he can, just standing there helplessly in the ring.
I loved it. And I loved everything about it. I really, really did. All right, let's preview All Out real quick. Osprey versus Pac, international title. Osprey.
Fantastic match, but Osprey's gonna win. Let's be honest.
Tag title. Young Bucks versus
Young Bucks retain. I don't even they threw like 3 new matches on this card. And it's like, okay, we're really doing this, Tony. We're putting matches out no one cares about.
Nightingale Statlander, Chicago Street Fight. I got Nightingale.
Yeah, and once again, why is this for a CMLL title? Can we just have them be in a regular Chicago Street Fight? But
It doesn't say it's for a CMLL title.
Well, it is for a CMLL title.
Okada versus 3 to be named 4-way match for the Continental title. I got Okada.
Yeah, I mean they teased on Dynamite Takeshita, which he is in one of the qualifier matches, and I am very excited for that because I want Okada to kind of quit being lazy Okada. So maybe Okada wins, but then we transition to a singles feud with Takeshita, which would really get me excited.
We'll see. MJF versus Danny Garcia. I got Maxwell.
Yeah, I mean I talked about how I'm not the biggest fan of MJF right now, but if you're telling me I gotta hold on to stock for like the next 5 years, it's definitely MJF. The contract thing with Garcia is still up in the air. I think you go with MJF on this one.
All right. Mercedes versus Karu Shida, TBS title. Camille barred from ringside.
I mean, let's be honest. I think Monet is going to win. Should be a fun match between these two. But yeah, I think she just retains.
All right. Danielson Perry, AEW title. Danielson.
Yeah. Interesting build, or at least lack thereof. Danielson just does commentary while Jack Perry cuts like one backstage promo. I mean, I get it if this isn't like your main event because they're going with Swerve and Hangman, but this is technically a retirement match for Danielson, and yet it's just kind of there. So I think it just obviously says that Danielson's going to win this match.
Swerve with Prince Nana, Hangman Page, unsanctioned, lights out, steel cage match. I got Hangman.
Yeah, I mean the fact that it's like unsanctioned, so like it doesn't count towards the record books, kind of makes me lean towards Hangman. It is in the main event, but Hangman has not, since he's come back, hasn't really done too much in terms of winning.
He needs this.
And I think it'd be interesting for Hangman to win, and then he propels that into a world title match against Danielson sometime, and then Swerve maybe falls down a little bit, but he's gonna land on his feet.
Let's say Hangman, this version of him, wins the world title. Will it automatically be better than the babyface run?
Maybe. I mean, it had its up and downs, and I mean, right before COVID hit, I mean, Hangman was finding something with drinking beers with the fans.
Yeah, like that I was invested. I'm like, okay, we can do this. Ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it for us. We will recap All Out eventually at some point in time. We are gonna close.
You'll get your under the radar drunk recap like you always do.
I may jump on it. We don't know. We're gonna close out with Marlee's thoughts on Big Toko's Kickback 3. Thank you guys so much. We'll be back next week. Yes, sir.
Big Toko's Kickback 3 was a movie, and I'm not just saying that because I was there in attendance, but I'm saying it because I had a good time. It's nice to see everybody. It was a great show from top to bottom. I had a good time. I was lit. Best way to celebrate Juicy Finale's birthday. Really enjoyed the women's triple threat. Really enjoyed the hair versus mask match. Really enjoyed the main event, which was... I have no words for it. I just know that I have a 2-minute video on my phone of Juicy and Journey hitting each other with light tubes. But overall, it was fun. It was great. It was my first kickback, and so I'm starting to get the hype of why they say don't miss the kickback. So when the next one comes around, do not miss it.
For life.
This has been the Bulletcast. Thank you for listening.